Hello and welcome to the Morningstar series Market Reaction. I'm Emma Wall and I'm joined today by Mark Preskett to talk about the autumn statement. Hi Mark.
Hello.
So autumn statement by name, but it was a bit more like a mini budget because there were a number of measures both for the individual and indeed for corporate UK PLC. If we start with what Philip Hammond, the new Chancellor, announced for individuals, he confirmed that the government was on track to raise the personal allowance to £12,500 by the end of the Parliament and indeed to raise that higher tax threshold to £50,000, which, considering the troubled background we've had over the last 6 months since Brexit, is great news for people, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, your tax rate affects the amount of money you have in your pocket at the end of every month, and I think it's welcome news for most of the working public out there.
And there were some concerns before he talked that he was going to undo some of the good work George Osborne had done for pensions. There were some pensions policies, but they were positive, though he confirmed that the triple lock will stay for pensions. And though he said that he would crack down on salary sacrifice, pensions, childcare and cycle to work schemes would be exempt from these. So although it was quite a positive news from Hammond, he did say that they would be looking into the triple lock for pensions because of longevity risk going forward. Just one more thing to mention for the individual. It was a new savings rate of 2.2% to be launched with NS&I in March, which is far higher than a lot of the savings rates on the market at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. You'd be lucky to get 1.5%, and you have to lock away your money for significant periods of time to access that rate. So it's definitely welcome news for savers.
So if we put the individual to one side for the moment and have a look at what Philip Hammond promised for UK PLC, here again were a number of positive measures, weren't there?
Yeah, so clearly it was as an attempt to be a business-friendly autumn statement. One of the key measures was the cutting of the corporation tax to 17%. That's quite a significant move. We're back at 23% only 2-3 years ago, and also we've got a £23 billion pledge on technology and innovation spending over the next 5 years. So that's, this is a sign that the Conservative government is looking at making Britain a good place to do business and attract foreign direct investment.
And one of the other key areas was infrastructure. He pledged to help spending on house building, roads, railways, although the market's been quite muted in its response because the housing spend, for example, is only 1.4 billion, which compared to the innovation fund he announced is quite small.
Absolutely, yeah. So the market reaction has been pretty muted. We haven't really seen any moves from any of the major sectors of the market except for directly the estate agency world, where they have a lettings agency spend cut where they have to pass some letting agents fees onto landlords from renters. So that's the only sort of market reaction we've seen as a direct output from the statement.
And if we have a look at how investors perhaps can benefit from these autumn statement measures, other than the fact that they may have a tax cut for themselves in the near future with that rise of personal allowance, infrastructure and innovation are traditionally quite difficult areas for investors or retail investors to access, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, from a fund point of view, there are plenty of global infrastructure funds and global technology funds out there, but funds focusing on the UK market are scarce, except for potentially small niche funds in the investment trust world. So an investor would need to buy direct equities, to buy a direct stock in there, and then you obviously have stock specific risk, and it requires a much higher level of research to pick the right company. Broadly speaking, though, I think it is a positive statement in the fact that he's really trying to make Britain an attractive place to do business and to attract companies to base themselves here, employ people here, and that will filter through to the economy. And other things being equal, what is good for the UK economy is good for the UK market.
Mark, thank you very much.
Thank you.
This is Emma Wall from Morningstar. Thank you for watching.